fourth largest IPO. We are raising 170 crores for them. As an investor, what actually we look at, if you are looking for IPO, there should be a clarity as well as certainty about your numbers. On an aggressive basis, if we receive timely documentation from the management, 4 to 5 months it takes to get listed. Startup is always about doing something disruptive, but even if you find a good tailwind in your sector and if you can rightly position your business there, you can build a good business model. The turnover should be at least 10 crore rupees. So your first goal should be to cross that. So profitable ventures can raise capital through SME platform.
নমস্কার, আমি পবিশা চট্টোপাধ্যায়। আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগত পবিশাস জ্ঞানে। পবিশাস জ্ঞানে আমি বাঙালি ইউথদেরকে এন্টারপ্রেনিউরশিপ আর বিজনেস রিলেটেড মোটিভেশন দিয়ে থাকি। তাছাড়া বিজনেস ইভেন্টও কভার করে থাকি। যেমন আজকের বিজনেস ইভেন্টে আমরা এসেছি বিইতে, বেঙ্গালস এন্টারপ্রেনিউরস ইকোসিস্টেমের জানুয়ারি মিটআপে। আর আজকে কত তারিখ? 19th জানুয়ারি। আপনারা সবাই আসুন, আমরা দেখি ভিতরে কি হচ্ছে, পিচ কতগুলো হচ্ছে, কে কে গেস্ট এসেছে এবং গেস্টরা বিজনেস সম্বন্ধে, এন্টারপ্রেনিউরশিপ সম্বন্ধে, ইনভেস্টমেন্ট সম্বন্ধে কি বলছে। আর তাছাড়া এরপর থেকে আপনারা পবিশাস জ্ঞান বাংলাতে ছাড়া হিন্দি আর ইংলিশও পাবেন। তাহলে আমরা কি ভিতরে চলি, আসুন।
The age of around 11, we migrated from Asansol to Ahmedabad. So love the energy, and why Kolkata is always close to me, the most sweetest city, because my career's first IPO, SNC Veggie Fair, was from Calcutta. 7 months back, I did a company called, which is globally, I guess, fourth largest calcined petroleum coke manufacturer, Atha Group from Calcutta, which is PCCL, Petrocarbon and Chemicals Limited. So at that time, 6 months back, that was one of the biggest IPO on SME segment. That's why around 100 crores.
Guys, please don't talk.
So that was around 120 crores. And that's world's third largest CPC player. And that raised capital in SME ecosystem. Currently, my one IPO from Calcutta only is Capital Number Infotech Limited. That's fourth largest IPO. We are raising 170 crores for them. Yesterday only we closed the anchor round, and a Calcutta-based company, and out of, I guess, a lot of IT companies which are listed currently in equity market. We were so surprised when we came up with that, when we saw the numbers. A company with 40% of operating margins, year on year growing 25%, 30%, and the perception of West Bengal is altogether different on the map of India. But to be very frank, the kind of companies we are finding here, the kind of promoters we are finding here, that's really very commendable. And the most important thing for any promoter to raise capital is from which location you are. That does not doesn't matter much. 3 things are most important, which I always look into my founder. That's whether he is having a curious mind, whether he's having a conviction about the future. Anand bhai obviously is firing the belly, the most important. These all 3 things really gives a lot of confidence to your banker to raise capital. I would love to share some of the case studies, like we are talking about here, a lot of addressable market share, to explain their business about tea, about pickles. See, I have come across a lot of companies and I'm so surprised. There were some of the companies which gave pretty beggars, 40 beggars, 100 beggars. But even after the companies become so big, the promoters were having no idea. As an investor, what actually we look at, and the tailwinds are very important in industry. So tailwinds are very good in in industry at that time, the promoter does not get the capital, and when tailwinds convert into headwinds, at that time what happens, the capital allocation become very bad. Like we were the very earlier guys who were absolutely red flagged about solar industry. So every Tom, Dick and Harry was coming to me and said, I'm having a so and so size of NVC project and we wanted to raise capital. I mean, we were absolutely, when anyone can do EPC, then definitely there are there could be tailwinds, but definitely they are going to lose the capital allocation that we have started seeing last 2, 3, 4 months. So very important for guiding advice. If you are looking for IPO, there should be a clarity as well as certainty about your numbers. Very important to know about market size. Like I give an example of
Abhisek, ठीक है, so मतलब since time का है, मानो I run a company. I'm speaking on behalf of everyone in BE. मैं कंपनी चलाता हूँ, तो अगर मुझे IPO लाना है, तो आप लोग क्या देखते हो? मतलब what would make me eligible?
So the most important thing, your numbers. So turnover should exceed 10 crore rupees. Last 3 years, your operating profit should exceed 1 crore. Out of 2 years, it should be 1 crore operating profit. If these two things are there, then you are eligible for IPO.
कितना पैसा मिल सकता है?
So SME ecosystem, I would say it is still very nascent stage even after 1000 IPOs. But if you closely look at, there's a concept called metrics called price earnings. So that is between 8 to 30. Depend how companies are growing. If it's a very fastest growing industry, the tailwinds are very good, and the segment has very clear-cut certainty about the near-term growth. Companies has raised even at price earning of 25, 30. Like this Calcutta-based company, the whole lot of merchant banker met this company and absolutely not clear about, because there's perception called Jama Kharchi and all about Calcutta. But to be very frank, when we met the management, we straight away said how much you are looking for, and we did the same transaction at around 24 price earning.
Okay.
So depend.
तो मानो किसी के पास 10 करोड़ की सेल्स है, 2 करोड़ की प्रॉफिट है, तो दे कैन अप्रोच यू, राइट?
Absolutely.
एंड आप लोग मतलब ड्यू डिलिजेंस भी करते हो, तो यू वर्क विद ग्रैंड थॉर्नटन, राइट?
Yes.
तो ड्यू डिलिजेंस में क्या क्या देखते हो?
So ड्यू डिलीजेंस में देखा जाता है जैसे the promoter should not have a tainted past. किसी कंपनीज के अंदर में उन्होंने कोई बैंक का नोट लिया हुआ है, कोई डिफॉल्ट नहीं हुए हुए हैं, या पहला कोई वेंचर हुआ जिसके अंदर में वो चला नहीं, और anything which creates negativity. There are a lot of things related to compliance or secretarial proceedings or audit. आपके previous जो audits हो उसमें बहुत सारे red flags नहीं हुए हुए हो, तो there are things. In fact we have a internal 63 point of checklist. So we have created such kind of model at GeoAir Capital. If all the compliances, if we exceed 75% above, then only we select the client. So it takes around 1.5 months. It comes up with 80-90 pages of report, which is very much in detail. The numbers should not be false. There are companies which we have met. They claim to be the sector leader, but then eventually we came to know about the numbers. We were absolutely first. So yeah.
From the time of someone coming, approaching and meeting you, and provided everything is right, कितना time लग सकता है?
Around on an aggressive basis, if we receive timely documentation from the management, 4 to 5 months it takes to get listed.
छुटकू कंपनीज का होता है करो?
Yes, absolutely. We did around, in fact, this year only, my one company, Trident Tech Lab, which got listed last year at 60 crore post money.
Right.
And it is currently 2,500 crore. That's around 40-50 bagger.
Right.
So yeah, it had a around.
Right.
So even 10 crore, 12 crore companies, good institution. So if you look at like Motilal Oswal, they have a microcap strategy fund yesterday by one of the company, Baido Capital participated. So these are large institutions now looking at the bottom of the India. So my suggestion is, startup is always about doing something disruptive, but even if you find a good tailwind in your sector and if you can rightly position your business there, you can build a good business model.
Any question for Abhisek? Because you don't get guys like him here.
And then investor, there are lots of news and content available for the large companies listed, like Anil Singh we're talking about renewable model. For SME IPOs, which platform or forum should I follow? For understanding SME IPOs background and details. In media, in mass media.
Send code Chittorgarh. Have a look. That is the best. Right. Any other questions?
How much money an entrepreneur has to incur for get his IPO? पैसा कितना लगता है टोटल IPO?
So
IPO का
before
cost.
IPO, effectively 15 to 20 lakh rupees you have to incur. Rest all expenses are from the escrow accounts. Fundraising cost plus compliances cost. Majority of costs are always.
escrow अकाउंट में कितना पैसा रखना पड़ता है?
No, you don't have to put it. It's a fund which we raise from the investors. वो escrow account के अंदर में आता है. उसमें से वो पैसा माइनस हो करके rest you receive before the.
Any more questions?
I have a startup और मैं सीड फंडिंग के लिए आई एम लुकिंग फॉर कैपिटल anywhere between 1 to 2 crores based on my valuation around 25 crores. So some tips, simple सी बात. And I am registered. My parent company is registered in Australia, but I am registered in India also.
Right. So first, most important, NSC as well as BSc both has the internal guidelines. The turnover should be at least 10 crore rupees. So your first goal should be to cross that turnover, and you have to be profitable. See, SME IPO is only for such companies those who are profitable. These are not for such companies those who wanted to scale and achieve the market share, but sacrificing on the part of profitability. So profitable ventures can raise capital through SME platform.
What is the eligibility for participating in the anchor round?
So anchor round only QIB can participate. So QIB definition is any alternate investment fund registered by SEBI, FII, FPI, systemic registered NBFCs whose loans size is exceeding 500 crores. So net worth size is exceeding 500 crores. No, they don't have.
To register as an
That
FII.
is SEBI.
Any more questions?
Hi, like you were saying, you have a large checklist that you check for companies before they can even qualify to get an IPO. And right now, my company is not yet hasn't reached 10 crores. Maybe it will take 2-3 years. But I was also very much interested in getting an SME IPO after reaching that milestone. So, any literature or any way where we can see these checklists so that I can already start keeping my books clean and everything. So
We'll definitely share with you.
thank you so much.
Akil? Well,
So why should someone book on SME IPO and not a normal IPO for Bitas Cuban?
So the normal IPO criteria is your last 3-year earning before interest and tax should exceed 45 crore. That is SEBI guidelines ICDR Rule 6.1 speaks. So achieving 45 crore of earning before interest and tax, there are very handful of companies in India. That's very challenging, and that's why if you look at how we got our BSc, SME and NSE emerged platform, that's from Japan's Mother Stock Exchange, Singapore's Catalyst and London's AIM, where SME penetrates a lot. So looking at the success ratio of Singapore's Catalyst, Indian ecosystem came up with BSc, SME and NSE emerged. So making 1 crore of profit is still achievable. We can see the dream. So that's why if you are not eligible for main voting, you can go for it.
तो अभिषेक मानो यहाँ से कोई आपको अप्रोच करता है, आप हाँ कर देते हो, अपने को कमीशन मिलेगा? थैंक यू अभिषेक, थैंक यू.
নমস্কার, আপনাদের এই ভিডিওটি কেমন লাগলো অবশ্যই জানাবেন। অবশ্যই লাইক, শেয়ার এবং সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দেন এবং ফলো করে দেবেন এবং নিজেদের যত ফ্রেন্ডস অ্যান্ড রিলেটিভস আছে তাদেরকে বলবেন, যারা ব্যবসা করতে চায় তাদেরকে অবশ্যই জানাবেন। কোনো ব্যবসার জন্য যেন আমরা আবার উদ্যোগী হই, ব্যবসা করি, সেটা সব থেকে বড় কথা। আমরা আছি কি কৃষ্ণা। আজকের মতো চলি।